And this brings us back to the claim that the Watchtower Corporation is used by Jehovah's Witnesses and not the other way around. I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses for the first 25 years of my life, and at no point did I picture the Watchtower as subordinate or in any way accountable to Jehovah's Witnesses. So here's a question. Out of the 8.5 million Jehovah's Witnesses alive today, how many of those could be said to have direct executive control over the Watchtower's operations? Because it certainly isn't any of the rank-and-file J-dubs in 120,000 congregations around the world. That cuts out 8.4 million Jehovah's Witnesses right there. Additionally, if you ask a Jehovah's Witness if they're a member of the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, most would probably say yes, but they aren't, because the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses is another legal corporation wholly controlled by the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society's governing body, lawyers, and lackeys. To quote the great George Carlin, "It's a big club, and you ain't in it." Again, how many Jehovah's Witnesses have direct participation in high-level decisions about doctrinal interpretation, the content of literature and videos, construction projects and real estate sales, investment portfolios, child abuse suits, and other legal challenges? I don't know the exact answer to that, but I'd personally estimate the number at less than 1,000 men, and it is only men. 1,000 men who, just like the governing body, surely include some people who really believe the Watchtower Corporation's nonsense, and others who know that it's nonsense and just don't care. Lots of annual meeting attendees would be my guess. 1,000 men represents 1/10 of 1% of all Jehovah's Witnesses on Earth. On a pie chart, that looks like this. Seen another way, it looks like this. And even if you think my estimate is low, 5,000 men represent 6/10 of 1% of all Jehovah's Witnesses on Earth. Another way to put this is that over 99% of all Jehovah's Witnesses on Earth have no direct participation in the direction and beliefs of the corporation that they have all dedicated their lives and the lives of their children to supporting. So the Watchtower's claim of being used by Jehovah's Witnesses is accurate only if you understand that although Bethel is composed entirely of Jehovah's Witnesses, only a tiny fraction of those use the Watchtower Corporation to control all the other Jehovah's Witnesses. Using the language of the novel 1984, those 1,000 men are the Watchtower's inner party. Its full-time servants are the outer party, and the 8.5 million rank-and-file Jehovah's Witnesses are its proles. 1984, incidentally, is a depiction of life under a totalitarian government. The Watchtower Corporation also uses Jehovah's Witnesses as camouflage, which is why news media reports usually print things like Jehovah's Witnesses sued over child abuse cover-up, without ever distinguishing between the two groups. That confusion protects the Watchtower Corporation, which is really all that matters to them. Having said all that, this arrangement is exactly how many, perhaps most Jehovah's Witnesses want things to be. Jehovah's Witnesses do use the Watchtower Corporation. They use it to bolster grandiose delusions of exceptionalism and protection. They use it to stoke their persecution and salvation fantasies. They use it to numb their trauma, and they use it to justify their fear of and contempt for reality and life itself. But most of all, Jehovah's Witnesses use the Watchtower Corporation's lies because they're terrified of how their lives would look without them, very similarly to addicts. That explains the panicked and defensive responses to any suggestion that what they're doing is harmful, and that maybe they should quit. But none of those uses are unique to Jehovah's Witnesses. In fact, they're typical for people who are emotionally dependent on conspiracy theories, fundamentalist ideologies, and high-control groups.